Hey world, Dolphin Doug here. I'm starting at the base of the Mount Roberts tram, and today I'm going to show you the waterfalls of Thane Road. It's been raining the last couple of days, and so we've got a lot of water coming off the mountains. Unfortunately, this is my second try at this video. It's not easy to get, and my camera turned off. But I'm going to try to show you part of the reason that we live in Juneau. But I'm starting at the tram building so that you can know what you've got not too far away. Now up behind, this is across the channel. You'll see the channel again. But that's Mount Jumbo. Because supposedly from down at Thane, if you look up at it, it looks like a big old elephant. And Jumbo was famous back when Juneau was getting started. So I'm trying to get the logistics of this photo shoot down, and it's not easy. So we're going to be driving along looking at these cute little waterfalls, and I hope you don't get too seasick, because I don't know another way of doing this. And I'm not in a hurry. When I tried to do this before, I had too much time to say and not enough time to say it. But you're getting to see Juneau. One of the things I want to encourage you is, if you're a runner, this route that I'm showing you is probably a really good run. I would always run facing traffic. There's not much shoulder, but it's a beautiful run. There's not much traffic. And look at this. Got little mine shafts there. It doesn't go anywhere. That's the edge of, you saw the whole thing. It goes in about 8 feet. It's a little practice tunnel, I believe. And all these big buildings up here, these are all ruins from the mine. The main mill for the AJ mine, which is what put Juneau on the map and made us the state capital, is just above us. And this is what I'm calling waterfalls. Some of them are bigger, but it's just a pretty day for a drive. And I don't want you to get seasick. I'm hoping you don't. But I want you to see what this town is like. I did have much better lighting early on. Look at this old building, this old warehouse. It's AEL&P, Alaska Electric Light and Power. It's been there forever, since the mining era. I don't know what the story is, but we still have electricity. There's lots of stuff to share. Now this is more traffic than you'd normally see here. I would always recommend, if you run this way, and this is the walk back to the AJ dock. Those of you that cruised in on and stopped at that dock, it's a mile from where I picked you up, all the way around to where the ship ties up, way over there on the edge of the peninsula. You cannot hike anywhere but this road. There are fences down below. There's no shortcut. This sidewalk that we're driving beside gets an awful lot of foot traffic in the summer. People that don't want to pay for the shuttle or don't want to wait for it. Biker, sure, no problem. And you can see it's October 22nd. Leaves are off the trees. What I'm going to do is I'm holding my phone. I'm driving slow. There's little traffic. I'm watching behind me in case somebody catches up to me, because I'm driving a little bit slower. But I'm holding my phone so I can turn it sideways every once in a while, and you can see some of these places. All sorts of stories about Juneau. They all interweave one way or the other. I don't want to tell you stories you don't want to hear, but I don't know what the stories are that you want to hear. It's hard to know without a live stream. Unfortunately for me, at least, don't know about you, the live stream in Juneau is intermittent at best. I have tried, and the conductivity of the phones, you just tend to get kicked out more often than you should. But I might be able to perfect that, and technology keeps improving. There's an old mine site right there that we just passed. Everything on the right side, that big peninsula down where the AJ dock is put, that's all tailings from the mountain. When this place was settled, the coast just went straight down into the sea. So there's a mines, they dropped the, oh, there you go, sorry. These waterfalls, they sneak up on you. They're waterfalls, but they're mostly You know, water just trickling down the side of the mountain over a bunch of rocks. They're not cliff type waterfalls, although there are a few of them. There you go. I didn't say it was world-class waterfall. See, I got to keep looking that way. And over here, this is a Little Rock dump. More tailings from the mine. They actually used it for a dump site full of all sorts of wrecked cars. And somebody thought about putting a bear sanctuary up there. Now, here's an interesting spot. I just did a little video on this. If you can see up there, it's an avalanche chute that goes all the way to the top of the mountain. And when I did my video shoot, you couldn't see the top of the mountain. But you see trees on either side. Those trees are old. And that means there's no avalanche coming down where those trees are. But this section with a waterfall through the middle disappears up into the clouds. This is off of Mount Roberts still. And every couple of years, an avalanche will come roaring right down, and then they hit this berm that's in front of us. There's a low spot beneath this berm. It's kind of a wall that's 20 feet high. They're trying to catch the snow as it comes down so it doesn't hit the, doesn't cover the highway. But every couple of years, we'll have a big avalanche shot, and it will cover this highway. The road to Thane has about 70 houses out there. This will be blocked for a day or two. The other thing they do, and it's not the best of weather, you got this beautiful glare, which I can't complain about, but over here is the town of Douglas. Somebody's burning something wet. That's why you've got all that smoke. Town of Douglas is another bedroom community of Juneau. Beautiful little houses nestled up in the hills. Love to drive you around and show you that. But they fire a howitzer from over here somewhere up into the snowbank at the top of the avalanche chute to try to knock the snow out, to get the avalanche to trigger before it comes over this berm so that they can keep the highway closed. But I have driven this highway and had walls of snow easily as high as that berm on either side that they had to tunnel through to get through. Now, they won't open up, they won't put the operators at risk underneath this avalanche chute until it's safe. That it's dangerous to be underneath an avalanche. If it's just because it's triggered once, it could trigger again and again. It's loosened things up a little bit up there. So they keep blasting it up there. They make sure that it's safe. They leave the people in Thane stranded down there. They have electricity, but you can't get back and forth by road for a day or two until it opens up. It's a known deal. The trick is not to get caught where I am right here. Right here on both sides of us are signs that say, "Do not stop in the wintertime." I tend to pay attention to some signs, and I don't drive down here very often, and I certainly wouldn't stop to look up there. And there wouldn't be any snow. If I was to go ice climbing, this would not be a place that I'd go ice climbing. Good though. Got a car coming behind me, so I'm not going to be in a hurry. This is the channel down which all of the cruise ships come. It's very deep. Here, I'll zoom in while I got it. There are mine ruins on the far side of the channel from a different mine. You see that tower building out there? That's the old pump house for the water that was stuck way out in the water, and it's always, I've walked out at lowest tide, it's out of the water. I mean, you can walk right up to it. But that's the Douglas side of the channel had, I believe, 4 major gold mines. And that's the ruins are over there just like they're over here. There are actually more ruins over there than there are over here that you can easily see. Guess I'm not the only one to think of driving out Thane Road and look around. It's Saturday, and pretty much all the trails are plugged with people. I need to zoom back out. Here's your nice trickle of water. You can hear the water beside the road as I drive past it. There used to be, this road is only, they replace these roads all the time. And the last time they rebuilt the road, they took away the, that's a nice big waterfall up ahead. They took away a spigot that used to come straight out of the mountainside, and it had water. It's just a pipe. It was a 1 inch, maybe an inch and a half pipe that came out. And you could get the drinking water, drink it right out of the mountain. And people would come down here because there are remote parts of town that don't have water, and they'd fill up their jugs of water because it was clean and free. And somebody decided that that wasn't the way to do business anymore. So you could still take the water. This is surface water. It's not as clean as something that's been gone through some dirt. I've been alive long enough that I've learned an awful lot. I have a brother that got Giardia up here in Alaska, he's convinced. That was before my time. And Giardia is not something to mess with. But I've done a lot of traveling in my life. And up in the boundary waters of Minnesota. Ooh, there's a nice waterfall. Let's go in there. I'm going to call this a waterfall tour. Let's stop at a waterfall. Come straight off the mountain. Barely see the top of the upper ridge of the mountain up in there. The hillside is all pretty much just this steep. I've never done this hike before. Is it going to be worth it? I don't think so. The trail should be better if it was a really nice view. Doggone it, it's not bad. Arg. Didn't bring a garbage bag. That makes sense. That'd be a glorious thing to do. Come up here and collect garbage with you guys. I don't know what's going on here. I think somebody cut those. But why did they go to all that effort? Oh, good day. Good day. This time of year, rain is expected. Now, I've learned as I get older, I love waterfalls as much as anybody. I love visiting waterfalls. And if you come to Juneau, you can certainly visit the waterfall out at the Mendenhall Glacier called Nugget Falls. It is by a factor of 10 larger than this, by a factor of 100 larger than this. I don't know what the number is, but it's a big number. I have learned that while they're wonderful and nice, the noise of a waterfall drives me nuts to try to be doing anything around it. It's just the nature of the beast. That's a bit of elder wisdom, because everybody thinks, oh cool, if I lived by a waterfall, wouldn't it be nice? Or if I lived by the ocean where it's loud with surf that hits all the time. Well, I'm telling you what, I wouldn't want it. Now, this channel doesn't get loud all the time, so if there were waves crashing in on this shoreline occasionally, if I lived on this waterfront, I'd still love it. But overall, it's not as much of a benefit as it should be. All right, look at these guys. Water just pouring off now. Pretty soon, the snow at the top of the mountain is going to stick. And so it's not going to be melting. And these trickles will slow down. These trickles will freeze over. In the wintertime, generally in Juneau, it's just above freezing. It can get down to 20 for 2 weeks straight, no problem. But it's not really that cold. I think I should probably just turn the camera and point it straight forward. I'm starting to get seasick, and I imagine you probably are too. That is the spot where there used to be water coming out of the hillside. I'm going to check that out when I come back. And maybe I can get it. If I can, I'm going to go drink some water there. I'm going to do this because I figure everybody's getting seasick. Now, we're about halfway down the road that I wanted to drive on. This is Alaska. When in Alaska, you might want to drive out the road. Okay, you see this barrier, this parking barrier right there? Too much to see. That's a beam that they can drop down automatically for when the avalanche hits, so that the residents of Thane won't drive into the avalanche chute and pile up down there when the avalanche could trigger. If they don't have that beam on the other side, because there are always people available on the other side. I do know people that live down here, and they just take it perfectly in stride to live on the wrong side of an avalanche chute. It's Alaska. It's like me with my extra toughs on that little hike out to the water. I'm just glad I wore the right boots. If I wasn't, I'd probably still go. What I'm doing right now is I've got a long winter ahead of me. I'll travel, but I try to lock in sunny days into my brain. If you live someplace beautiful, you notice the bad weather days. Well, I live someplace that is very often ugly, and so we lock in the good weather days. You should try that. It's a good mindset, no matter where you are. Okay, this is Sheep Creek. There's Sheep Creek and Steep Creek. Steep Sheep Creek is what we're driving on. That's the biggest creek that we're about to pass. That's down here on the Thane end of things. Steep Creek is out by the Mendenhall Glacier. All these old abandoned buildings beside the road are AEL&P property. Let's go look at another waterfall. Now, things keep changing. I guess I'm not supposed to go in there. Doggone it. Can't go in there if it says don't go in there when I got you guys. Right? Wouldn't want you to think I'm a rule breaker. Never think that. Alright, so the deal is, if you're a salmon, you can't make it up that waterfall. So what do? You spawn at below the waterfall and die and get washed out to the ocean. So oftentimes, as of up till about a month ago, we had the smell of summer here. This wetlands out here gets much, much larger at low tide. It's all the debris from Sheep Creek, and that's what everybody's playing out here. You can collect, you can fish, you can collect clams out here. I have no, oh, she's picking up seaweed. These people are picking up seaweed. I'll give you 30 seconds to decide why somebody would pick up seaweed this time of year. They were able to drive down on the beach. This is one of the rare places you can get down to the beach, and they're loading the truck up with bucket after bucket of seaweed. Now, it's not, I mean, it's harvesting. There's not enough seaweed for the whole world, but there's plenty of seaweed for the people that want it. 10 more seconds. Why do they want seaweed? They put it on their gardens because it's full of all the micronutrients of the ocean. It's full of sodium as well, but we have plenty of water that will wash it off. This is entering the edge of Thane, this bedroom community of, I said 70 houses. It might be 30. I don't actually know what the number is. And we have about 3/4 of a mile before we get to the end of the road. And what you're seeing now is basically what you'll see the entire time. It's a whole bunch of folks that like their little private Idaho. The waterfront is entirely occupied by one house or another. All these driveways go down. But there's land that's not quite as steep on the uphill side, so there's a decent number of houses on the uphill side as well. I've known several people down here that live down here. It's a curious little one to me because the houses are so far apart. It's hard to get to know your neighbors well, but they like it very much. It's got entirely different weather than the rest of Juneau. Not in a good way or in a bad way. We have this sunshine. You see the sun shining. People living in Douglas on the other side of the channel, the sun has already set. The sun is behind Mount Jumbo, which I'm looking over at and is covered with snow. I've never actually taken the effort. Let's see if we can see a, doggone it, they're trees. There's nothing to see. If I get that, you can look at Mount Jumbo and we'll see why it's called Mount Jumbo. I'll make a short of that, if that's possible. So yeah, there's the waterfalls. There's one more waterfall than I know of out here. The waterfalls of Thane Road. If you're gonna run, this is something like 5 miles from downtown Juneau. So if you come in on a cruise ship and you wanna run out this way, you can get in a good solid, I think it's a 10-mile run, without a chance of getting lost. Very, very scenic. And the traffic is not full speed. So if you keep going from the end of this, you'll get to Dupont Dock. It's a trail, and it's generally a good trail, although it does get washed out on occasion. But again, nice and easy, and it's right by the coast. You just follow the coast as far as you want, and you could go 20 miles down it, although the trail gets very harsh after Dupont Dock, which is something like 1.5 miles past the end of this road. If you're a big-time runner, run to Dupont Dock. You'll love it. Don't waste your time going past that because it's not a run, it's a trail scramble. Like I was going beside that waterfall earlier. Here we go. What do you do if you got a dog? Pick up dog droppings. Thank you for joining me. You have now gotten to the end of Thane Road. When you come up here, stay warm and dry, enjoy the run, and if you go for a hike, I hope you have extra tufts. There's the end. Oops. Come on, didn't do that quite right. I gotta end with a waterfall in the background. See ya.